Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shout out to everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Today I'm going to be discussing we could talk about the West Nile virus that has come and reared its ugly head and made a comeback in the United States of America. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I had once worked for an exterminating company that did a lot of work in treating the catch basins in New York City for the West Nile mosquito and their larvae. So the treatment process that they used pretty much wanted to catch the mosquito at the source and kill the mosquito early at like birth and stuff like that. So I'm going to show a video or two describing certain things about the West Nile mosquito, and we can talk about it.
Tonight, more American families in agony.
It's hard to see them like this.
In St. Louis, John Proctor's once healthy 18-year-old son lies paralyzed on a ventilator at Barnes Jewish Hospital after John says BB got West Nile virus from a mosquito bite earlier this month.
How does that hit you, that this was in all likelihood, doctors say, a mosquito bite, and here's where we are?
It's hard to fathom how such a small, insignificant creature can take a perfectly 100% healthy human being and make it so that they can't even move or support their head, and they can't regulate their body temperature, and it just causing havoc on his body.
Now, I didn't realize these things about the West Nile mosquito until now, because when I was treating the West Nile mosquito, it was just about the mosquito. It had nothing to do with the actual virus itself. It was all about treating the mosquito itself. You know, it wasn't about the virus.
Fast.
The Proctor family's nightmare marking another alarming severe case of mosquito-borne viruses. Today, Wisconsin public health officials revealing 2 people there died this month from West Nile. The deaths in Wisconsin come as West Nile cases hit 33 states across the country. Experts point to a hotter, more humid summer, conditions just right for mosquitoes to thrive, spreading.
I don't know what summer was hotter and more humid, but it wasn't hot and humid out here in New York City. Maybe that's why we don't have the West Nile as much as we did before, because this was a terrible summer. It feels like winter already.
West Nile and a deadly virus called Triple E. Health officials in Massachusetts today announcing a second human case of Eastern equine encephalitis in a woman in her
Eastern equine encephalitis. I've never heard of that before, but there's new diseases, new things happening, new things coming out. And this appears to be one of them, the Triple E. I don't know if there's testing for it or anything, but the next video I will get into is with the symptoms of the West Nile. And I don't know if the symptoms are similar, but we'll get into the West Nile symptoms just so you guys could be safe and know what to pay attention for while you're out here in public.
Today announcing a second human case of Eastern equine encephalitis in a woman in her 30s. 5 states total now reporting cases as the effects of mosquito-borne illnesses hit home for a growing number of families.
I just keep telling him, look at my face. Is Dad scared? And he goes, and that's how we get through.
Are you scared?
I'm scared.
You definitely look scared, and as a parent, I would be scared myself. I would be very afraid.
I'm scared.
BB's family
I ain't gonna lie, it looked like he was holding back tears, man.
is inside that hospital praying for a full recovery. They've been told it's possible, but could take a year or more.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
The fuck was that? It could take a year for him to heal and get better. This is crazy. But this is what's going on. We have the West Nile back in America causing all of these problems. Now, we're about to go into how to identify symptoms of the West Nile virus so you guys can be safe and make sure you know what to look for after any mosquito bites or possible encounters with insects. I know my thumbnail might be a little scary to some people, But don't worry, that mosquito's harmless.
When a mosquito bites, it injects you with a tiny amount of saliva. If that mosquito recently fed on a bird infected with the West Nile virus, you might have just received more than a bug bite. Because mosquitoes don't just transmit diseases from person to person, they can also deliver the goods from one species to another. The good news.
And that's the thing. Mosquitoes don't care where their meal come from. So they'll bite a human and then bite an animal, and then bite an animal and then bite a human, So whatever these animals and humans are carrying, it'll give you, which is scary as hell because mosquitoes are like almost invisible to the eye.
They can also deliver the goods from one species to another. The good news, though, is that around 80% of people who contract West Nile virus don't even notice. But for the unfortunate few, vomiting, disorientation, tremors, convulsions, and vision loss are just a handful of symptoms that arise 2 to 14 days after being bitten. About 1 in 150 people infected with West Nile will develop a more severe illness when the virus enters the brain. And in the most severe cases, infectious can lead to permanent paralysis, severe neurologic illness, or even death. Although there's no way to prevent the virus, you can reduce the likelihood of receiving a bite from a mosquito by getting rid of any standing water outside your home where mosquitoes lay eggs and breed.
Now, remember I was explaining that I worked for a company that treated the larvae that had a poison that killed the larvae. So this is what we would do. We have these things called catch basins that catch the water when it rains on the side of every street. It's usually about 4 per corner, right? There's water sitting in them stagnantly. We would treat, because that's where mosquitoes would lay their eggs, in the stagnant water. We would treat those catch basins and kill off the larvae. And when the mosquito comes back there to lay more eggs or to have a drink or whatever it may be, it will die also. So we would treat those catch basins and any stagnant water we see sitting around, not lakes and stuff like that, but you walk past and you see like a garbage bin lid flipped over filled with water. You could just pour the water out, cool, but the eggs and the larvae in there would be in the moist soil still growing. So we'd treat the water and just leave it. Let the water sit there. They'll come back and they'll kill themselves,
Making sure your doors and windows have tight-fitting screens. And of course, using insect repellent.
All right, so
It's summer.
They also discussed another virus called the EEE virus. I'm about to go into the symptoms and what you need to know about the EEE virus, just to get it all together and get it all out there, so people don't have to go to a whole bunch of different places to find this information. Now, generally, I don't trust the news, but with these type of situations, they have doctors and stuff that they've consulted and scientists. So I don't trust the news when they come to certain other things.
Rare mosquito-borne eastern equine encephalitis known as triple E.
It is a mouthful. Some parts of Massachusetts are spraying for mosquitoes.
Hey, yo.
Pause.
As triple E.
It is a mouthful. Some parts of...
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm foolish. He just said that, and I had to do that. You know what I mean? Shout out to Duty.
Massachusetts are spraying for mosquitoes to lower the risk. Just yesterday, New Hampshire recorded its first death from the virus since 2014. 41-year-old Stephen Perry's family says he died after a week-long hospitalization.
Now, this mosquito-borne illness can cause flu-like symptoms. It is deadly for about a third of people who develop it.
So that means 33% of the people that contract this virus it might not make it. That's the percentage of them that might not make it. It has flu-like symptoms, and this is flu season, So be careful, I don't know if they have a test for it. We'll find out. But you guys have to be real cautious out here. Soon it's getting cold, so it won't be as much mosquitoes outside. But make sure you have screens and stuff so they don't come and multiply in your home. And you got mosquitoes in the winter, and you're wondering why.
The threat usually subsides with the first frost of the year, which puts mosquitoes into hibernation.
Dr. Waleed Javaid joins us now. He's a hospital epidemiologist and director of infection prevention at Mount Sinai, downtown here in New York City. Great to have you with us. And we know you don't want to scare people too much, but this is so serious. Are the pattern of cases so far typical to what we normally see over a summer, or is there an added level of alarm right now?
So it's not unusual. We do see around this time of the year, we do see people, very few people across the country get infected with Eastern equine encephalitis virus. And then the mortality or the death rate is about 20-30%, which unfortunately in this case was the result. But this mosquito and this disease does occur in the eastern part of the United States.
And we mentioned.
So just to be clear, this is happening on the eastern part of the United States. This is why it's called the Eastern something encephalitis, right? It's part of the name because this is where it occurs at. Once it starts happening on the West Coast, they might create another name for it or change the name. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we're dealing with on the East Coast, you know, all along the East Coast, you know, from Connecticut up north to down to Florida. So everybody on the eastern side of America, please be cautious out there when dealing with these insects.
The risk will ease once the weather cools down, but right now people are actually really scared about this, especially since everybody seems to be getting mosquito bites. We're looking at spending a lot of time outdoors, at least for the next couple of days. So who is most at risk? And given that for a third of people it's actually deadly, at what point, if you get a mosquito bite and you have some of these flu-like symptoms, should you be concerned?
So I think, and all those questions are very, very important. I think prevention is the best cure in this situation, where we can actually prevent mosquito bites. We can prevent them by using insect repellents, especially if you're going to the woods or to hiking. I think the best practice really would be if people are out and about to make sure that they are using some sort of protection for mosquito bites themselves. And then people who are high risk, elderly usually are in this category, but this virus in itself, again, being very rare, has occurred in younger individuals as well, although the risk of death is higher in the elderly.
All right, Dr. Javid, thanks so much.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you.
State health officials meet.
Shout out to the doctor from Mount Sinai. Shout out to everybody that's going to watch this video and that has been watching it so far. That will be my time. I will be getting into some other things on my other channel today. But that's just something for us to talk about. Everybody enjoy your day.
Hey, why you hating on my energy? I don't think you wanna be my enemy. I pop out, fake a wild, so celebrity. Too busy winning, I forgot that I got frenemies.
All we just feeling alright.
Hey, why you hating on my energy? Ooh, say why you hating on my energy? Say why you hating on my energy? I don't think you wanna be my enemy.